point in more recent times when I don't actually have to start these videos with, I'd love it if we beat them. As a famous certain Mr. Kevin Keegan would say.
And I'll tell you, honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Because more recently, we have beat them. So what I'm going to say is I would absolutely love it if we continued beating them. It's Man United at home. It's my cup final I look for every single season. And yes, the boys are up against it with injuries. Yes, the boys are putting in a shift week in, week out. But wouldn't it be nice if they could just do it again on Saturday night under the lights at St. James Park? Another big game, as everyone feels like it is at the moment. And the match preview's coming up. So do us a favour, Newcastle fans, if you're curious, and make sure you stick around. Welcome back to Black and White Banter, you lovely Newcastle fans. Wherever you might be watching this video from, whether you're a new subscriber, whether you've just stumbled across this video totally out the blue, I say welcome to you all, and thank you very much for at least lasting this first 30-40 seconds. If you do stick around for the full video, do me a favour, whack that subscribe if you like my opinion, or even a snippet of my opinion. Wouldn't that be very nice of you? But if you haven't done any of that and you don't want to do any of that, the least thing you can do is give me a little likey loo. And that one rhymed, and I'm a poet, and maybe I knew it. So, here we go again. I've just about recovered from France, not in my physical well-being. I've got the lurgy since I've been to France pretty much. It seems to happen every European away day I've been on this season. It feels like the lack of sleep, the travelling, the beers, your routine, your body clock goes out the window, and I've got a banging head, nose is blocked, you name it. So it always seems to bring me a bit of lurgy back. But would I do it all over again? Of course I would. I am so blessed to have been able to tick off PSG, Dortmund and Milan on this mad adventure that you call supporting Newcastle this season. And I really think, despite what VAR tried to stop us from getting on Tuesday with that ridiculous decision, I still think there could be another European adventure waiting for us in the new year, whether it's the Europe or whether it's the Champions League. We move on. We are not Arsenal. I said on my match vlog, if you haven't seen it, just go down. I was lucky enough to be in the away end. I think I was one of the only ones on YouTube who was, funnily enough. Just thought that was worth mentioning from a quick scan I did, as I always do on YouTube. So yeah, go out and check my match vlog. Long opinions at the end of that video, where I basically called on Newcastle fans to not dwell on that decision too much. We are not Mr. Mikel Arteta. We are not that way inclined. Yes, we are frustrated with it. Yes, it was a robbery, but we move on because the lads put in such a performance that they deserve more than to just be talking about that. So here we go. We don't have time to dwell on stupid VAR decisions because it's Manchester United at St. James's Park. Everyone's got their own fixture, and I say this every single time I do a Man United match preview. Everyone's got their own game that is the standout fixture for them when those matches get released in late July, early August. Mine will always be Man United at home, Man United away. It's just a team that I've disliked since being a very, very young age. And a lot of people will say, oh, that's just because they were successful. Well, no, because they haven't been successful now for a good 5 or 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. And I still absolutely despise them. Don't like their fan base. Don't like how entitled they are. I've never liked a lot of the players that have played for Man U. Not as ability-wise, because they've had some great ones. Just so many different factors. And yes, they've caused me heartache over the years as I was growing up, especially under the Bobby Robson sort of era. And then when we moved into Souness and all the managers that followed, we normally got battered. Yes, that's a contributing factor, but I just hate them. And when we won 3-0 in the League Cup in our last game, not too long ago, that was one of the greatest nights of my life. I can honestly say that, hand on heart. Singing, you've seen United now, F-U-C-K, home, their song in their own backyard to them as they walked out in their droves was absolutely incredible. So this is the one home fixture I always look for, and it's a big game, and I don't think Eddie Howe needs to tell the players that. The players know the significance of this match. It's going to be very different in that League Cup game because Man United are a very strange team this season. And the reason I say that is because if I was to ask you, or my dog Maggie, or my next door neighbour, or the guy in the corner shop, how they rate Man United's season this season, they would probably laugh and go, oh God, absolutely shite. But they go into this game actually with more points than us in the Premier League, and I think if anyone was to look at how Newcastle's season's gone to Man United's season, we would almost feel like we were cuts above. Wins against PSG, 8-0 against Sheffield United, smashing Chelsea, beating Arsenal. But Man United have just gone quietly about their business, as much as it pains me to say it, in the league, just winning matches by the odd goal, conceding very few goals more recently, struggling to score them, but conceding very few. And I don't look at the league table. I do not look at league tables until February, March. I just don't see the point. So when match of the day is on, when the league table comes on at the end, I turn it off. Once the highlights are over, I do not care where we sit in the table unless we haven't won a match, and it's worrying because it changes so much. I just do not see the point when there's a matter of points in it. So when I realised that Man United had more points than us, even if it is just by one, mind was blown. Because I just look at them as such a poor team. And yes, I've watched them in matches where they've got very lucky. They've had no playing style, no Man United we maybe knew of old. But at the same time, yes, they've gone about the business and got more points than we might think. Do I think Newcastle should be looking to really, really get into these on Saturday? I'm not going to say batter them. As much as I would love nothing more, I would give all my Christmas presents. I'd give me left bollock. Wouldn't give it me dog, Mags, I'm not that harsh. But you get the drift. For us to batter them on Saturday would make my Christmas. If Santa Claus is real, if you're watching this Santa, before you set off on your sleigh around the country, because I know you've got a hell of a lot of presents to get out, give me a battering of Man United at St. James's Park at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. That's all I ask for. I think I'm on the good list. I try my best. That's how much it means to me. And the reason I say that I think we should batter them is because they are a team struggling for identity. They are a team struggling to score goals. They are a team in a bit of free fall defensively. And when I say that, I don't mean in the Premier League conceding. I mean the likes of Andre Onana. We have to talk about him. Erik ten Hag's come out in the lead up to this game and give a very bizarre interview and done what managers do, protecting the players by saying he's the second best goalkeeper in the league.
Last half an hour laughing with him.
No, porque todos mis compañeros se visten bien. Todos se visten bien, digo.
Everyone dresses pretty well.
Jesus Christ. I refuse to believe that Mr. Erik ten Hag, unless he's been smoking a bit of the old wacky-backy in his own country, where it's legal in the cafes, he does not believe that. Yes, stats can tell a certain picture for some things, but Onana is not the second best goalkeeper in the league, and I'm sure plenty of the Newcastle players were probably laughing hearing that one. And we have to talk about him because do we target him? Of course we do. Do we load the box and put players around him? Of course we do. Will Eddie Howe be telling these players to maybe shoot on sight a little bit more because that is not the Eddie Howe way? We know it isn't. I've been critical of it in the past that one thing we lack is shooting. Sometimes when we are in and around the edge of the box, it's pass, pass, pass. It hasn't done us too badly so far, so that's probably a silly bit of criticism from me. I'll hold my hand up to that. But there has to be more of an intent to shoot on goal in this match. Onana coming off the back of that disgusting performance against Galatasaray, where I genuinely think, as someone who's awful in goal and hated playing there all my life playing football, I think I could have saved that second free kick from Ziyech. I genuinely think I could. But it's a funny one because, yes, we can talk about this and I do want us to batter them. We have to look at the other side of this, that these players, this is where I get a little bit worried, are going to be quite tired. Eddie Howe said in his press conference, I really wished he would have said different, that we do not have any players coming back. And yes, we all know Mr. Eddie Howe has a fantastic poker face. I don't know whether he goes to Asper's Casino in Newcastle in his spare time, but he'd probably get himself a little bit of money at the roulette and at the poker table, because he's brilliant at telling porcupines in his interviews. Is there maybe someone going to surprise us there? I don't know. But Sean Longstaff, as much as Miley has been fantastic, I would have loved to have seen him back. Botman, we know, is still not there. Willock, Barnes, well, he's been out a while, so that's nothing new. Callum Wilson's nowhere near. I just hope there might have been maybe a Longstaff back. Maybe a Botman, maybe getting a little bit closer, just something to maybe give us something. But no, apparently not. So Lewis Miley, who was absolutely incredible in the week. If you haven't watched any of his highlight reels that people have put together on social media, please give them a watch. Just the silky passing. Sorry. Oh, God, sorry. That's the French lurgy coming through. The passing, the movement, the one touches, the give and goes, putting his body on the line defensively, tracking his runners, just absolutely incredible for a lad who probably had to get himself home because he had to be up the next day to continue revising for his A-levels. But it's game after game after game, and he was brilliant against Chelsea, he was brilliant against PSG. Can he be brilliant 3 times in a week? Now, the other side to that argument is that a lad of his age is just raring to go. Can you all remember when you used to go out on the drink when you were 17 and 18, first started going out in town? It was 14 for me, to be fair, but the less said about that, the better.
You're hard, showing off.
But you'd wake up the next day and no hangover. Oh, I'd go for a 5k run after 8 pints and a couple of Jaeger bombs. That's what 17-year-old players will be like with these matches. He'll be ready for the next one, raring to go, no aches in the legs. So from that point of view, I'm not so worried. But I still do think it's fair to say that we miss Sean Longstaff. And I keep saying it, not because he does all the donkey work, as Sean Longstaff continues to get this reputation for that's his only role in the team. Sean Longstaff makes very, very, very intelligent runs off the ball to support our attack. Defenders and midfielders get headaches from picking him up, and he's very good in an attacking sense. Oh, I just wish we had a couple of players back for this one. So we're going to go back to that awful substitutes bench. And Eddie Howe keeps saying that any more injuries will really screw us over. That's just a fact. That's not an opinion. It's true. Because if we get any injuries now, we're looking at Matt Ritchie to come in. We're looking at Kraft and Paul Dummett to come in. And these are all capable players. But apart from that, what have you got? Hall as an attacking substitute who can play left back or maybe left midfield. That is it. It's worrying, it is, and God, with every player that goes down, you're concerned. Now, do I think we have enough in the tank to win this football match? Of course we do. What areas do I think we can hurt Man United in? There's one place to start for me, and it's Alexander Isak. The man is going to continue getting sharper and sharper and sharper. We saw his finish against Chelsea, one pass, bang, bottom corner. We saw his goal poaching abilities against PSG, but he offers us just something. When he has the ball at his feet and he's in and around the box, the man knows where the goal is, but the man is also always on the shoulder. And Man United's defence, as solid as it's been in the Premier League, will not be looking forward to playing against him. Lindelof, his Swedish teammate, knows everything about him, but I still would back him against those kind of players and against Man United's defence. If he goes with Maguire, I think there's only one person winning that race. Other areas, I think Bruno. Who can win the battle of the Brunos? I would prefer Bruno Guimaraes in my team every day of the week. Bruno Fernandes technically is a fantastic footballer. Bruno Fernandes as a person is an absolute bell. Cannot stand the man. How he is club captain of a so-called top 6 side is beyond me. When the chips are against him, and I hope they are at St. James's Park, because we get an early goal and the atmosphere's in their faces and we win in every battle and Joe Linton's doing what Joe Linton does best, he'll turn his back on his team like he always does. And he, for me, is a player you can target. If Bruno Fernandes gets one landed on him early doors in that match and he starts whinging to the referee, he gets more and more riled, he loses his head a little bit. That's where you want a player like Bruno Fernandes. We let him play his game, different kettle of fish. Very good player who can hurt us in between the lines. And that's a bit of a worry of mine with Miley, Bruno and Joe Linton in that 3. Who's going to take Bruno Fernandes? What job can we do in that central midfield area? You win the central battles against Man United, I think you've got a good chance of winning the game. Yes, of course, Garnacho scored that lovely goal against Everton last week. He's still a bit raw, and I do fancy Kieran Trippier against him. Maybe famous last words, who knows. Their centre forward is very, very big. Højlund, he's very, very big and strong, but again, Lascelles, if there's one thing I'll say Lascelles is really fucking good at, it's the tussles and the aggressive side of the game. And again, I've got no reason to doubt our Captain Marvel. So win the midfield, central areas, and then go from there. Anthony Gordon is going to light up this game. I'm really, really hoping he is. Contributed to 6 of his 6 goals in 7 appearances in his last 7 appearances. 4 goals and 2 assists. He's in the form of his life. Long may that continue. He won't like Man United because of his Everton background. I think everyone on Merseyside hates Man United. Join the club, Anthony. And on the note of the stats of Mr. Anthony Gordon, it's, of course, time for a little bit of black and white banter. Stats. I mentioned earlier, Newcastle United's record against Man United more recently is probably the best I can remember in my lifetime. And Newcastle can beat Man United for 3 consecutive matches in all competitions for the first time since 1922. Mother of mercy. Let's try and put that 101 year record to bed. Wouldn't that be nice? We've scored 18 goals at St. James Park this season. We've had loads of entertainment. That's 2 more than Man United have scored home and away. You know that so-called massive club in Manchester? Yes, as I mentioned, it seems like Man United are having the worst season ever, and it's absolutely wonderful. But everything else, if you look a bit deeper, suggests otherwise. They are looking to win their 4th away game in a row without conceding for the first time since 2017. We can't let that happen. Please, let's not let that happen. Let's get St. James's Park rocking. And that is another episode of Black and White Banter Stats. And the reason I'm bringing that to you now and not on my match vlog is because, and there's going to be so few subscribers sad to hear this, I will not be doing a proper match vlog for Man United, which is so difficult for me to say because it's my biggest game of the season that I always want to do one for. I've been offered the chance to go into hospitality for this match, which I just like to do every now and again. I don't get the chance to very often. Parts of hospitality make me feel a bit uncomfortable. I will always prefer to be in the strawberry corner with the masses, soaking up the atmosphere, singing with the people around us that I love to chat to. But it was an opportunity I couldn't really turn down because of the people going and whatnot. And when you are in hospitality, you can't get as much footage. But not only that, I'll be having a drink before the game, having a drink straight after the game. So I won't be able to speak to fans and stuff in and around the stadium. So that's why I'm doing my stats now. So there will be no match vlog. But of course, I'll be doing a video with my full thoughts on the match. Maybe a couple of drinks deep if I decide to do it straight after the game. So please, don't get too upset about that. You couple of people who might actually tune into my videos week in, week out. I know there's not many of you. So that's the stats. I've given my thoughts. This game means absolutely everything to me. What am I going for? Well, of course, I've got to back a Newcastle win. Our home form has been absolutely incredible. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. A lot of people aren't happy about it, but if an 8 o'clock kickoff will do one thing, it will make that atmosphere banging because everybody will go out early. People will be on the beers all day before the match actually starts. So I'm going to go for us to beat them. They're still in disarray in terms of identity, in terms of playing style. They've scraped a lot of matches that makes their record, as I've talked about, look a little bit better than what it is. I'm going to go for Newcastle to win 2-0. I'm going to go the same result as last season in one of my famous matches under Eddie Howe when Willock and Wilson scored, when we battered them just after they beat us in the cup final for a lovely bit of revenge. More of the same than what we saw in the League Cup at Old Trafford, please. And as I said at the start of this video, it's no longer I'd love it if we beat them, it's more I'd love it if we kept on beating them. Come on, boys, let's keep going, let's keep making us proud because the shift yous are putting in the circumstances at the moment is absolutely class. Let us know your predictions in the comments, drop a like, drop a subscribe if you haven't already, and fingers crossed, by the end of this weekend we are toasting what has been a pretty brilliant week supporting Newcastle United. Away the lads!